That is Friedman Adventures family member Scott Buchert heading south on the Red Rooster 3.
We're having dinner now on the Red Rooster 3 as we're headed down south.
Of course, we wish Scott and all the anglers on board the Red Rooster 3 a really special trip.
Anybody want to catch a mahi-mahi, a dolphin, a Dorado? All you want here.
Let's see if I can get him to jump out of the water for it.
Oh, pretty much.
Let's go. Chop, chop.
Hey, good morning, my dear friends, and welcome to the day after Halloween here in beautiful Surfside, California. It is a gorgeous fall morning. There is no wind at all. It's a little bit chilly, but look at that ocean. My God, it's beautiful, and it's just teeming with life. I don't know if those pelicans, there's a whole mob of pelicans that have been crashing into the surf, an indication that there's bait fish here this morning. Maybe they'll get into the picture here a little bit later today in today's morning briefing. All kinds of birds sitting offshore. It's really a lovely time of the year. In Mexico, today is known as Dia de los Angelitos or Dia de los Inocentes, and it's a day when we remember children who have passed away. So it's a very somber and important spiritual time in Mexico. And of course, if that kind of tragedy has ever befallen you, we keep you in our thoughts and our prayers. There is so much to talk about. In fact, I'm going to use two boats today to illustrate why I think our immediate future is really, really bright. It's still down on the offshore scene, but there was a couple of indicators that this thing is about ready to blow sky high. Stay tuned for that. Of course, we'll be checking out the surf bite, the rockfish bite. We've got those yellows to keep tabs on down there in La Jolla, and the offshore scene, I really think, is getting ready to go. You know what time it is. It's time for the morning briefing. Good morning, my friends. Delicious coffee early in the morning. The sun is just coming up, and I'm telling you, when I walked out here this morning, I just felt so blessed, as should you if you're going to be out fishing or you're out fishing right now, because it's gorgeous right now. Can't get any nicer. Remember to hit that like button. We deeply appreciate that. Subscribe right here to the Friedman Adventures channel. We appreciate you doing that. Share these reports with your friends. And of course, don't forget, tick the little bell. You'll be notified when there is new content, including breaking news and our live shows and so much more here on the Friedman Adventures channel. We've surged way past 4 million views now, way past 10 million total views when you add in our social media. And we can't thank you enough. Hey, Friday night, we're on the horizon, as you well know. We're on a great day and a half trip. I'm very optimistic about it, even though it's still slow offshore. I'm going to get into that. Only 4 spots left on that trip. And now, if you want to book it, 2 ways to do it. You can go to hmlanding.com, hmlanding.com. Click on trips, go down to November 3rd, Horizon, Friedman Adventures, and you can get on and grab one of those last 4 trips, or you can call H&M Landing at 619-222-1144. Would love to see you on that one. A couple of really important dates for you all. November the 11th is the Eddie Leland Memorial at All Souls Cemetery in Long Beach, California, 4 to 8 in the evening. I will see you there. And then December the 2nd, come on, mark that on your calendar right now. It's going to be great. It's our Christmas party. And we're over at the Redondo Beach Rod and Gun Club. It's going to be a spectacular event with great food, great entertainment. I guess I'm kind of the entertainment, along with a bunch of other guys. I'm hoping Bill Wilkerson from the Malahini is going to be there, Mike Morrison from 22nd Street Landing, and a whole bunch of other guys like Sam De La Torre from Island Fishing Tackle, all there to bring in the holiday season. December the 2nd, Mark it on your calendar. If you're a Patreon member here with Friedman Adventures, it's free. The meal's free. You can bring a guest for free. Do it. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you're not, it's only 15 bucks, and the meal is worth way more than that. Not to mention all the entertainment. December the 2nd in Redondo Beach, California. All right, my friends, let's jump into it with you all. We opened up. I hope you enjoyed that Dorado Frenzy. Going on board the Constitution. The Constitution home base is H&M Landing in San Diego, but they're now down in Bahia Magdalena, down the Baja coast, and Mag Bay is the site of some spectacular fall fishing, and they certainly have had it on this trip. I thought you might enjoy all those. Dorado going nuts down there. And Ensenada, which is only 70 miles down below the border, getting ready to celebrate not only today, but also Dia de los Muertos tomorrow. But the bite down there still remains pretty good offshore. Now, the nature of offshore fishing is hit and miss to start with, and it's been down here lately. Most of the guys have been concentrating their efforts on the local scene, catching rockfish, a few calico bass, occasional sea bass down there, occasional halibut down there. You can still come up with that kind of stuff. That offshore scene, I believe, is getting ready to switch on. We'll watch it closely, but in the meantime, plenty of rockfish out of Ensenada with our friends, the Pongueros, down there in that neck of the woods. So keep that in mind. It will really make a huge difference to your success. I guarantee you that. When you get down there, bring that variety of tackling. You need some of that light stuff, and you need some of that heavy stuff for sure. So I'm talking 20-pound fluorocarbon in some cases, 25-pound, and also you're going to definitely want to have some of the heavier stuff like 60 and 80-pound. And those Daiwa lures like 100 gram to 150 grams, those can make all the difference in the world in terms of hooking a fish on heavier line. So that is a good way to get the job done. Keep that in mind. 50-pound Daiwa, you're onto a fish. You own them because you got them on the heavier line. All right, let's get up and talk offshore here in the San Diego area, in the LA Orange County area. There's a couple of boats that I want to single out right now and talk to you why I think it's a really great sign. Number one, let's go to the Pride there at 22nd Street Landing in San Pedro, California. Sean Roberts says he beat his brains out looking for fish, looking all day long. He said that yellowfin tuna was just a little too far south for them leaving from San Pedro. It had just pushed out of range, and not only that, it was very inconsistent, not biting. Perhaps a function of that moon I'm looking up at right now. We've seen this before for many, many years. Specifically in 2023, we've seen it every single moon phase, where the fish get into a funk on the full moon, and then coming off the moon, they start to bite again. And are we getting toward that? Well, perhaps, because Sean said he would see a school of bluefin, and the stuff would swim away from him. He'd see another school of bluefin, and off it would go again. It wouldn't stay. It wouldn't react to the chum. It was typical full moon funk, where you see them, you can't catch them. Very frustrating kind of fishing. However, right at sundown, they get into a bite. They start to catch some fish on those Colt Snipers, Daiwa type, smaller, shinier lures. And then in the nighttime, as the sun started to set, the fish started to bite on the knife jigs. They end up with limits of bluefin tuna. That is such a good sign, not only because it's limits, but because he found biting fish and we're coming off the full moon. I like it. I like it a lot. Now, having said that, if he didn't run into that last bunch of fish, it would have been a strikeout. So that's where we're at right now. It's very difficult kind of fishing, but that's a sign to me that we're getting ready to come out of it. Now, you look at the San Diego boat that leaves in the morning from Seaforth, comes back in the evening. If you just look at his score, 3 bluefin tuna, you say to yourself, still crummy, still slow, and you'd be right, okay? I mean, it is still slow, but it's what they saw. And these guys on the San Diego are not blowing smoke at any time of the day. If they say something, take it to the bank. And they saw a lot more fish yesterday than they have seen. They loved the signal and sign that they were getting, and they think that it's ready to get going here very, very soon. And I concur 100%. So those two boats are indicators that this tuna bite in SoCal is not over by a long shot, and northern Baja, and that it's getting ready to go again, and we're going to keep our eyes on it for you very, very close. So let me give you a couple of scores here to give you an idea of how it is right now. Tribute, day and a half trip, 22 guys, 15 yellowtail, 5 Dorado, 3 yellowfin tuna, Polaris Supreme, 3-day trip with 20 guys, 80 yellowfin tuna, 18 Dorado bluefin tuna. So we measure the pride with limits of bluefin tuna. You cannot beat that Ranger 85, 23 Dorado, 15 yellowtail, 10 bluefin, 10 yellowfin tuna for those boys. You know, I forgot to mention one thing. The bluefin on that pride trip, 30 to 60 pound fish, with some fish up to 100 pounds. That is pretty darn beautiful fish. I love the quality of that. Hey, Valentino, you know Valentino, right? There is, coming right in. Buenos dias, hermano. Valentino's a great guy, hardworking guy here in Surfside, California. Okay, so nice grade, and you heard those scores. Kind of iffy, not anything great, but headed in the right direction. I think our Horizon trip is going to be a great one. Can't wait to see all of you. There are only 4 spots left. At least that's what it was here early this morning. It's going to sell out shortly, so get on board that one if you can. And the weather, perfect. Going to be gorgeous. May get a little breeze towards Saturday afternoon, but we're going to have a lot to work with in the morning. And depending upon where we fish, we may get a night bite. If we go all the way to Tanner Cortez, which is viable with the weather now, which is great, right? If we get to go there, you're not fishing at night at all. If we fish short, you may fish at night. If you have 300 to 500 gram knife jigs, that kind of stuff, bring them, because you just heard what happened to Sean Roberts on board the Pride at a 22nd Street landing. So keep that in mind, my friends. That will really help you a lot. And you don't want to fish anything less than 100-pound Spectra with a 2-speed reel that works really, really well. And I don't like anything less than 200-pound leader material. Those little bluefin, those little devils have teeth, and they'll chew right through the line if you allow them to. So keep that in mind, and I think that will help you a lot. All right, let's get into the island situation, which really nobody has been fishing much. Not much at the Coronado Islands. Mostly rockfish down there in that neck of the woods. Same thing at San Clemente Island. The sea lions there this year were miserable and made fishing yellowtail virtually impossible. Up there at Catalina Island, sheep's head, whitefish, rockfish, kind of going like that. And then up in the Channel Islands, we've seen spectacular bottom fishing with a lot more lings in the count. Santa Barbara with fantastic fishing. They've had great fishing on the Coral Sea with limits. And up there in Burgess and Morro Bay, they've been all over the rockfish. Go a little bit further just to let you know that there's been some good bluefin tuna fishing up north around Fort Bragg, and north of there, there's still some albacore up there in that neck of the woods. Just keep you in the loop on all of that also. As we take a look at the local scene, that yellowtail bite backed off on us yesterday at La Jolla, but I don't think it's over by a long shot. They're nice, big, beautiful fish. They've been biting deep for the most part, but there's been some surface iron fish also. And when you're throwing the iron, you don't want to throw it with anything less than 60 pounds, especially on that La Jolla fish right now. It's beautiful, 18 to 25 plus pound forkies. When you're bait fishing, a lot of that, some of it has been fly line, at least 30 pound, 40 pound fluoro is what you want to use. You can get away with heavier, do it, but there's been dropper loop fish with a 4-ounce torpedo sinker and a good big hook and heavy line is what you want to fish there with. Elsewhere, as you're looking up and down the local areas, it's been mostly rockfish. Even though water temps are pretty warm right now, we still see some good calico bass fishing down in San Diego if they want to fish it. Same thing, Oceanside, Dana. Up here in Marina del Rey, Redondo area, Long Beach, San Pedro, they can catch a few bass, but most guys are focused on deep water rockfish because it's been so good, number one, and they provide such excellent table fare. They are so good to eat. Man, nothing like ceviche or some fish tacos made from these beautiful, colorful rockfish. Here come our pelicans. About time they showed up. Oh, they're all sitting in the water back there. I wonder if they were diving on bait while I was blah, blah, blah. You're going to have to leave a comment down below and tell me what you saw back there. Should I run and get my chrome crocodile and toss it out there right now? I told you those things were here right out of Central Casting. They show up right on time. Lobster fishing has been fantastic over there at Catalina Island. Of course, I'm wishing my friends who are on the Gale Force, Bob Gifford, Nick Acosta. Hey, by the way, if you're on the Gale Force today on that 12 noon trip, you tell those two schmucks to save me a lobster or two. Please, tell them that. Gale Force heading out at 12 noon. They had some room still on that trip. It's a great trip, by the way. You get to fish rockfish, load up on that here before sundown, and then when the sun sets at Cat, well, it has been spectacular. I forget what the exact numbers were, but their last 4 trips, they've had 270 something legal lobster and over 600 that they've released. Cat has been fantastic this year. 10% off at Big Fish Bait and Tackle on all your lobster gear, your Promar lobster gear. If you want to do that online and get 10% off, go to promarahi.com and put in Friedman 10 at checkout, 10% off. And man, $50 a pound is what these local lobster are selling for right now. You come home with 10 pounds of lobster, and it sounds like a $500 bill to me. At least that's the value, and that's pretty darn good, if you ask me. It couldn't get any more lovely for surf fishing, and there's been some really great surf fishing up and down the coast here. Recently, we've seen, spot fin croaker, we've seen yellowfin croaker, we've seen some halibut. My friend down there south of the border lives in Tijuana, Fernando Osuna Ugalde. Look at that big old flat fish down there, man. He loves fishing a spot called Playa Saldamondo. George Saldamondo is a dear friend of mine, and Playa Saldamondo, which is just short of Ensenada as you drive up the Baja coast, is the loveliest place you could ever imagine spending time in. It is so pristine, and talk about being a million miles away from everything, yet so close to Ensenada. It's such a great place, but nice job for him with a nice big flatfish, and we're seeing a lot of that up and down the Southern California coast. Also, still some halibut around. Going to be a big halibut year because we have a lot of squid in the local environment right now. That squid, of course, is a magnet for all kinds of game fish. I'm looking forward to a huge year next year. By the way, the Endeavor out of Ventura Harbor Sport Fishing is running some open party trips here in November and December, and you just don't get on that rig because he's sold out all the time. So if you want to join Tucker McCombs and the Endeavor out of Ventura Sport Fishing, I highly recommend you give my friend Sal. Good morning, Sal. Hope you're doing good. Give him a call at 805-676-3474 and check out how you can get on the Endeavor. You will not believe the quality of the rockfish you'll be catching. And if there's any surface signal around, sea bass, halibut, even a bluefin tuna, he'll get on it. Tucker McCombs will put you on it. So give Ventura Sport Fishing a call and give my best to Sal and everybody in that neck of the woods. All right, my friends, we are going to be watching this very, very closely. It is so beautiful right now. You have no idea. I hope you get out and take a walk on the beach, do some surf fishing, or maybe you're even more blessed than that. You're offshore looking for that tuna and it turns on today. My God, there is so much life today. Lots of pelicans, tons of birds. You gotta love it. We are really, truly blessed. All right, have a great day, my friends. Thanks for joining us here on the morning briefing. Don't forget, I'll have more for you as the day goes on. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and of course, we'll keep you updated all day long. Have a great one, and as always, I hope to see you really, really soon.